Welcome to WikiPodcast. Today, we're embarking on a very special deep dive in our History Makers series. We're focusing on a truly transformative figure, Martin Luther King Jr., and his dreams that echo still. Our mission today is really to unearth the most impactful moments, the profound ideas that shaped his life and, well, continue to resonate today.
It's quite a journey. It reveals how King, starting as a young boy, deeply affected by injustice, progressively grew into this global symbol of nonviolent resistance.
Yeah.
We'll trace that path, try to connect the dots between his very personal experiences, the powerful public philosophy he championed.
And maybe uncover some surprising detail.
Oh, absolutely. Some things that might challenge what you thought you knew about this American titan.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. Martin Luther King Jr., born Michael King Jr., January 15th, 1929, Atlanta, Georgia.
Right, but the name change is interesting itself.
It is. His father, Michael King Sr., changed both their names to Martin Luther King in 1934. It was after a trip to Germany, inspired by the Reformation leader Martin Luther.
Adds a whole layer of meaning right from the start, doesn't it?
Definitely. And his childhood home life, steeped in Christian teachings, Bible stories from his grandmother, Mama, you can see the seeds being planted there.
And that upbringing, particularly his father's example, it laid some crucial groundwork.
How so?
Well, you see this defiance. It raises a key question for us. Given his father's powerful stand against segregation and King's own early brushes with racism and anger, how did he truly commit to nonviolence?
His father's defiance was quite something.
Oh, absolutely. Like that story in the shoe store. His father refusing to sit in the back saying, we'll either buy shoes sitting here or we won't buy any shoes at all, just point blank.
Wow.
And confronting a police officer who called him boy. His father said Martin Jr. was a boy, but he was a man, and told young Martin, I don't care how long I have to live with this system, I will never accept it.
Powerful words to hear as a child.
Immensely.
Mm-hmm.
But then King had his own encounters.
Right. That story at age 6. It's heartbreaking. His white playmates' parents stopping them from playing together, saying flat out, we are white and you are colored.
And his initial reaction was understandable, wanting to hate every white person.
But his parents stepped in, taught him it was his Christian duty to love everyone. That's a heavy concept for a 6-year-old.
It is. And there was early trauma, too, those suicide attempts after his grandmother's death scare. It shows a deep sensitivity.
So these experiences, good and bad, are swirling around.
Exactly. And what's striking is how his gift for speaking emerged so early, age 13, winning an oratorical contest.
And the words, Black America still wears chains. The finest Negro is at the mercy of the meanest white man. Powerful stuff for a kid.
Powerful, and then immediately contrasted by reality.
That bus ride home after winning,
Yeah.
forced to stand for white passengers, he wrote, that night will never leave my memory. It was the angriest I have ever been in my life.
You feel that anger, that injustice.
Then at 15, he's at Morehouse College and that summer job up north in Connecticut.
Ah, yes, the integrated North. A revelation for him.
He wrote home, just amazed. No discrimination at all. White people here are very nice, go any place we want to. Integrated churches, restaurants.
That must have been. Well, it must have cemented the possibility in his mind, right? Seeing it work.
Absolutely. It wasn't just theory anymore.
So at 18, he decides on the ministry, influenced by Benjamin Mays at Morehouse, gets his BA in sociology.
Then off to Crozer Theological Seminary, Boston University. Even elected student body president at Crozer. He's clearly a leader already.
He is, and there's a fascinating personal story from this time, often overlooked.
Yeah.
He seriously considered marrying a white woman he met in Boston.
Really?
Yeah, but he was advised against it.
Well,
Told an interracial marriage would hurt his future ministry in the South, so he broke it off.
wow. The personal cost?
Some friends said he never quite got over it, that she was the love of his life. It shows the immense pressures already shaping his path.
Moving deeper into this period. Even before he fully embraced Gandhi, he was already acting on principles of civil disobedience, wasn't he?
That's right. While in Boston, he met Coretta Scott. She was hesitant about dating a preacher, apparently.
Understandable maybe. But they married in 53, started a family.
4 children. Yolanda, Martin III, Dexter, Bernice. Though it's worth noting, he did expect Coretta to primarily be a housewife and mother, limiting her public role in the movement.
A reflection of the times, perhaps, but still notable.
Definitely. And before the big campaigns, there's this incident, Mary's Cafe, 1950.
Right, in New Jersey. What happened there?
He and some friends were refused service, just wanted ginger ales. The owner refused. then actually fired a gun into the air.
Fired a gun. Good grief.
Reportedly shouted, "I'd kill for less." King and his friend filed a complaint. The owner got fined for disorderly conduct, though the discrimination charge was dismissed.
But King saw it as significant.
He called it a formative step, his first real deployment, you could say, of nonviolent confrontation against discrimination, testing the waters.
A blueprint, almost. Learning about the pushback, the legal side, the exposure.
Exactly. It sets the stage perfectly for Montgomery.
The Montgomery bus boycott, 1955, that really changed everything, didn't it?
It absolutely did. Spurred by Rosa Parks' arrest, building on earlier acts like Claudette Colvin's, King, still relatively new to town, was asked to lead.
A fresh face.
Precisely. And the boycott lasted
What was it?
385 days. An incredible feat of organization and endurance.
Just amazing and dangerous. His house was bombed during that time. He was arrested.
Which brought national attention.
Huge attention. And it ended with the Supreme Court ruling bus segregation unconstitutional, a massive victory, and it made King the national voice of the movement.
So from Montgomery, he co-founds the SCLC in '57.
The Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Using the power and structure of black churches for nonviolent protest. He led it until his death.
But as his influence grew, so did the opposition. The state surveillance.
Oh yeah, J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI? That's a dark chapter. Hoover saw him as a radical, ordered COINTELPRO operations against him from '63.
They were looking for communist ties, digging into his private life, secretly recording him. I mean, the pressure must have been unbelievable.
And that anonymous letter the FBI sent in '64.
Threatening him. King thought they were trying to push him towards suicide. It's chilling.
How do you even function under that kind of constant threat, trying to lead a movement while your own government is actively trying to destroy you?
It underscores the immense personal risks he took, constantly. Yet he pushed forward. Back in Atlanta in 1960, co-pastoring with his father.
And participating in sit-ins like at Rich's department store.
Yeah.
Got arrested again.
And that arrest got complicated. A previous probation thing meant he was sentenced to 4 months hard labor. Caused a national outcry.
And that's where JFK stepped in.
Yes. Presidential candidate John F. Kennedy pressured authorities, even called Coretta Scott King. King was released 2 days later.
Which swayed his father's endorsement to Kennedy. Politics and protest intertwined.
Always. But not every campaign went smoothly. Albany, Georgia in '61. That was tough.
What happened there?
King was arrested, chose jail time, but then the police chief cleverly paid his fine and had him released. Kind of undermined the strategy.
Witnessed being kicked out of jail, as they put it.
Right. The movement stalled. It taught King a valuable lesson, though.
About choosing battles.
Exactly. Choosing engagements where SCLC could control the circumstances better, define clear goals.
Which brings us to Birmingham, 1963. That felt different.
Very different. Much more confrontational. The explicit goal was to create a situation so crisis-packed that it will inevitably open the door to negotiation.
And the Children's Crusade. Using young people in the protests. Controversial.
Deeply controversial, but incredibly effective visually. When Bull Connor turned those fire hoses and police dogs on children.
The images shock the world.
Galvanized support like never before. And King, jailed again, wrote the letter from Birmingham jail.
An absolute cornerstone of his philosophy. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed.
And that powerful line about legality. Everything Adolf Hitler did in Germany was legal, challenging the idea that law always equals justice.
He really took aim at the white moderate, too.
Criticizing those more devoted to order than to justice. It was a sharp, necessary critique.
And Birmingham worked. Segregation signs came down, public places opened up, his reputation soared.
It set the stage perfectly for the March on Washington later that year.
August 28, 1963. The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
Organized by the Big Six civil rights leaders. Kennedy was initially nervous about it.
Feared it might jeopardize the Civil Rights Act.
Right. But the organizers held firm. They knew the power of a mass demonstration.
And what a demonstration. Over 250,000 people. All ethnicities. The scale was unprecedented for D.C. at the time.
Just massive. A sea of people on the National Mall.
And then the speech. The I Have a Dream speech.
17 minutes. Apparently he departed from his prepared text quite a bit. Mahalia Jackson supposedly prompted him. Tell them about the dream, Martin.
Is that right? Wow. And that iconic line. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Gives you chills just hearing it. widely seen as one of the greatest speeches ever.
And it undeniably helped push the Civil Rights Act of 1964 forward.
No question. But King didn't stop there. His focus started to broaden.
Like in St. Augustine, Florida,
No,
in
man.
64.
Exactly. SCLC joined a movement there that included activists who believed in armed self-defense, which was complex for King.
How did he navigate that?
He stuck to nonviolence, but they strategically brought in white Northern activists to get arrested, knowing it would attract national media. Very savvy. The Civil Rights Act passed it right during that movement.
Then Selma, Alabama, 1965. The voting rights movement.
Working with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Then came Bloody Sunday.
March 7th. Horrific police brutality against the marchers on the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
King wasn't there for that first march, but the images, televised nationally, they caused outrage.
He led the second march, but turned back.
Yes, to obey a court order. It was a controversial tactical decision, but it kept the focus on the state's violence, not the protesters.
And the third march finally went through.
Reaching Montgomery, and King gave that incredible how long, not long speech. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice.
That speech, those events, they directly led to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Monumental.
Absolutely. But then he took the fight north. Chicago, 1966.
The Chicago open housing movement. He actually moved into a slum there.
To highlight the conditions. But the reception in the north, it was different, more hostile in some ways.
He was hit by a brick during one march.
He was. The racism was less codified than Jim Crow, but deeply ingrained. He ended up negotiating with Mayor Daley to prevent more violence. It was a tough lesson in the complexities of Northern segregation.
And around this time, his views are clearly evolving, connecting the dots.
Connecting racism, poverty, and militarism, which led to his stance on Vietnam.
That was a huge step. He'd avoided it initially.
Didn't want to alienate President Johnson or dilute focus from civil rights, but eventually his conscience wouldn't let him stay silent.
April 1967, the Beyond Vietnam speech.
Powerful and deeply controversial, calling the U.S. government the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today.
Strong words.
Arguing the war drained resources from fighting poverty, that it represented a spiritual death for America.
The backlash was intense, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Lost support from white allies, criticized heavily by the press. Life magazine called it demagogic slander.
But he felt he had to speak out.
He did. Privately, he was leaning towards democratic socialism, arguing for a fundamental reconstruction of society itself. He even nominated Thich Nhat Hanh for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Showing that global connection.
Which brings us to 1968 and the Poor People's Campaign.
A shift towards economic justice.
A major shift. The plan was to bring a multiracial army of the poor to D.C. for massive civil disobedience, demanding an economic Bill of Rights.
His last book argued for guaranteed basic income.
Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? He slammed Congress for funding the military generously while being stingy with poverty programs. It was a radical vision for economic restructuring.
And then Memphis.
He went to support striking black sanitation workers.
April 3rd, 1968. He gives that final prophetic speech. I've been to the mountaintop.
Chillingly prescient. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land.
And the next day?
April 4th. Shot dead on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel.
The autopsy finding. The heart of a 60-year-old due to stress, it just shows the toll.
Unimaginable stress. At his funeral, they played his last sermon, asking to be remembered as drum major for justice, drum major for peace, drum major for righteousness.
His death ignited riots across the country. Such pain and anger.
A devastating blow. James Earl Ray was convicted, but the conspiracy theories never really died down.
Especially given the FBI's history with him, people wondered.
Understandably. The Justice Department investigated again in 2000, found no proof of conspiracy, but doubts linger for some. Those FBI files on the assassination were declassified just recently, January 2025.
And the earlier FBI tapes, the ones used to try and discredit him, still sealed until 2027. It leaves questions open.
It does. It highlights the hidden battles he was fighting alongside the public ones.
But his legacy, despite the tragic end, it's immense.
Undeniable. The Civil Rights Act of 1968, the Fair Housing Act, passed just days after he died, a direct result of his final push.
And Coretta Scott King founding the King Center.
Crucial work, preserving his legacy, promoting nonviolence, and the MLK Day federal holiday. That took time, but it happened.
Observed in all 50 states by 2000, he's become part of the American fabric, even venerated as a saint by some churches.
And his core ideas, nonviolence, love for enemies, connecting justice struggles, the critique of unchecked capitalism, they're still incredibly relevant. That call for a radical reconstruction of society, people are still debating those ideas today.
And that amazing little story about Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek.
Oh, right. He convinced her to stay on the show.
Told her LT Uhura was a symbol. You are our image of where we're going. You're 300 years from now. That means that's where we are, and it takes place now. Just incredible foresight about the power of representation.
He really is. Shows how broadly he thought about change. And the awards, Nobel Peace Prize, Medal of Freedom, Congressional Gold Medal. His face planned for the $5 bill.
So when you look back at it all, his life was just this incredible testament, wasn't it? The power of one person's dream, one person's voice, to spark massive change against overwhelming odds.
Yeah. If we connect this to the bigger picture, his unwavering commitment to nonviolence, even as his analysis deepened to include economic injustice and war, his relentless hope, it still gives us a roadmap, A reminder that, as he said, that moral arc does bend towards justice, even if it takes struggle.
Thanks for listening. Write us your opinion in the comments on Curtain Sprint. What aspect of Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy do you believe has the most profound impact on society today? Subscribe to the channel to help more listeners reach our episodes. Thank you, and have an amazing day.